A very good evening to everybody watching. Thank you for joining us tonight on the evening review. My name is Johanna Kambala. Tonight on the platform, we are joined by Johanna Kambala. She is the manager for stakeholder relations at the Central Procurement Board of Namibia, as well as her colleague Immanuel Kambinda, who is the acting executive for public procurement at the same institution. They are here to talk about the process that the institution is embarking upon on pre-qualification of contractors for construction bids. Thank you very much, colleagues, for making time. It's a pleasure to have both of you.
Thank you, Toivo.
Yeah, wonderful. So maybe let's start with Johanna, just to say that you issued a statement, I think on Friday. It's under your very beautiful signature, talking about this pre-qualification of contractors. If you can give us a summary of what you said in the statement.
All right, thank you very much, Toivo. Maybe what is important is to explain to the public what the Central Procurement Board is all about.
Yeah.
The Central Procurement Board of Namibia was established by an Act of Parliament, that is Act number 15 of 2015, with the mandate to conduct the bidding process for the procurement of goods and services, and also the disposal of assets on behalf of public entities as per their threshold. As we all know, each public entity in terms of the Public Procurement Act is categorized for a certain threshold where they can procure themselves. Any project above that threshold, then those procurement projects are then submitted to the Central Procurement Board of Namibia for processing. So that is basically what the Central Procurement Board is all about. And as you have indicated, today we want to talk about the pre-qualification for the construction of bids that we just recently introduced in the market.
Yeah.
So thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, wonderful. Just, I know that we have a different subject now, but just for clarity, when a public entity forward their
Procurement projects.
Yeah, to you, do they pay you guys?
No, they don't pay us, because in terms of the Act, that is our mandate.
Yeah.
The Act mandate public entities to forward their procurement projects to CPBN at no cost, and we facilitate that. In terms of our operations, we are fully funded by the Namibian government.
By the Namibian
Yes.
government. Maybe, Emmanuel, you can tell us, so this new process, it says here that as part of the Procurement Board's strategic objective to enhance efficiency and effectiveness in the public procurement processes as contemplated in the Act, the Board will be conducting a pre-qualification exercise for specific bids in the construction works category. What does that mean?
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. So basically, the object of the Act, one of the objects of the Act is effectiveness and efficiency in the procurement processes.
Yeah.
So as part of our strategic initiative, the procurement excellence, we have then identified how to do procurement in an efficient manner and effectively, and also to make use of the resources optimally. So based on that, we then came up with the pre-qualification process.
Yeah.
It's worth noting that the pre-qualification proceeding is part of the Act already. It's under Section 42, where a board or public entity is permitted to do pre-qualification.
Yeah.
So then we just triggered that section, and then we are going to be doing pre-qualification for the construction projects.
Pre-qualification means what?
So pre-qualification basically means that before you get to the procurement itself,
Yeah.
you call for applications.
Yeah.
The document has categories of thresholds, and these categories were determined because, as Ms. Kambala was talking about, the CPBN does procurement for projects which exceeds the entity's threshold. And our lowest threshold of the entities, you are looking at your village councils, you are looking at your town councils, and the threshold for them is 20 million for works. So everything above 20 million for those entities, they will then come to the Central Procurement Board. So the first class of works will then be for contractors who can do works for 20 million. And then you get another class, which is then starting at 150 million, another one. And then the last one is the class 4, where you are dealing with projects which are above 150 and above 450 million. So we will call for bidders to come and get the document. They fill the document, they attach their documentations and the experience based on the projects which they have done. So if a bidder has a capacity to do projects which are like 20 million, then they apply for that class of 20 million. And then they will be evaluated. Once they are pre-qualified, then they will fall into that category of the projects for 20 million. So once we get projects from these entities, which is then above their threshold, then we don't run a procurement again, then we do a restricted bidding. So restricted bidding is then having a list which you would have taken from this pre-qualification. If you have 10 contractors who are pre-qualified in that class, then you issue that restricted bidding document for that specific project to these 10 bidders, where you ask them to give you their pricing, so that you can then see who is the lowest responsive bidder, who you can then award that project to. If you get a project within the class 2, which is between 50 million and 150 million, you also then give to those contractors who are pre-qualified in that class. That's what basically the pre-qualification means.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so the restricted bidding, restricted bidding, I was coming to ask what it is, but now you have explained it very well, to say it's from this pre-qualification process, you then get your best ones, and then from that pool, the final pool is where you restrict the process of sourcing the final person. I don't know if it's Johanna or Immanuel now that can speak to this specific question. It's quite technical, but it talks about the categories in which the scope of work covered under this particular exercise, that it's building works and civil works.
Okay, that will be Mr. Kambinda, but before we answer that question, it's very important to inform the public that the Central Procurement Board of Namibia, we deal with high-value procurements. High-value procurements we have mentioned from 20 million to 50 million, and the highest is from 151 million to 450 million. And why the exercise? As we said, we deal with national projects. A road must be constructed, a clinic must be constructed, or a school must be constructed. Now, pre-qualification means that the bidders must have the capacity. And if we are talking about the capacity, what capacity is all about? Financially, the technical capacity, so that at the end of the day, when we have got a school that need to be constructed in a rural school, learners will not be left abandoned because a bidder was given an award, and unfortunately that particular bidder cannot deliver at the school. So basically that is what it is all about. But Mr. Kambinda will then give information as to what are the categories in terms of the building of works, what does it entail in terms of the civil works. But most importantly is to educate the public and say that these are very high value bids. And it is national projects that have got an impact on the nation. Anything that goes wrong with that project, it means that you are depriving of a child in a rural area who was supposed to start school in January. But unfortunately, because you have awarded a bid to somebody who cannot meet the requirements and the contractual obligations of that project, you end up having abandoned projects. But let us give it to Mr. Kambinda to explain the building works as well.
I'm not done with you, Anna. So, does this process, the restricted bidding, still subject you to other processes? I know that there's appeals and even the review panel, which is an outside entity. Does it still apply to this particular kind of process, or this is more just for the broadened bidding process?
We must take note that everything that we do at the Central Procurement Board of Namibia is guided by the Public Procurement Act,
Yes.
meaning that we cannot operate outside the boundaries of the Public Procurement Act.
Yes.
So your question is to say that everything that we are doing is within the Public Procurement Act. All other regulations, all other requirements will still need to comply with the Public Procurement Act. Otherwise, once you do that, you'll be at the review panel, and you will also be at the High Court being challenged by the public and challenged by the bidders in terms of us conducting our business outside the ambience of the law.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, clear. Immanuel, this particular process is restricted to construction.
Yes.
And he talks about public works and civil works.
Yes.
Is there any specific reason why it's only confined to that specific industry, as opposed to, say, catering in public schools and whatnot?
Actually, so since this is the first time we are going to undertake this process, we opted to go for construction, and then see how it goes, and then we can then improve the process with other category. You have your goods, you have your non-consultancy. So depending on which one is applicable, then we'll see if we can also extend it to those categories.
Yeah.
And just to come to the construction works, where you have your building works, as it was put, you have your construction of schools, your office and residential if need be, and then you have your civil works, which is then your bridges, your roads, and water or stormwater services. So that is the class, the works which are being looked at here. I want to address the question which you asked on if we still be subjected to the review challenges. We will be subjected to review challenges, but the thing is that now you have split your processes into two. So this process, of course, it will still undergo the review processes. After this, because now after you pre-qualify, you have your mandatory document which you have requested. If you requested for them to initial and sign and all those things, those will not form part of review challenges in the restricted bidding. In the restricted bidding, there will be very few challenges, and also then you have limited it to a number of bidders. Maybe you would have had 100 applications during the pre-qualification, but then you only have 10 who are pre-qualified in that class. So your number of reviews and the possibility actually of review is also then limited to that. So that is the good thing, that in terms of timelines, we will actually be saving so much time by having a restricted bidding after you have already pre-qualified the bidders.
Okay.
Yes.
I was going to ask about whether the turnaround times are shorter with this, and you have addressed that question. So we'll go for a very short break and return with Johanna and Immanuel.
Missed the madness? Catch every sharp jab, unfiltered truth, and political punchline from Second Take, the show that says what others won't. From presidential bloopers to policy absurdities, we satirize the powerful and poke the pompous. If you didn't catch the fire live, don't sweat it. Every single story is waiting for you on Echo. Find us at 102.com and Echo, in your time, on your terms.
Missed the latest episode of Tourismus? Don't worry, Echo has you covered. Catch every travel adventure, insider industry news, and exciting destinations from Tourismus anytime, anywhere. Visit www.102.com and click on Echo to relive the journeys, rewind the adventures, replay the stories. Tourismus, where adventure meets prime time.
We continue the conversation with Johanna Kambala and Immanuel Kambinda from Central Procurement Board of Namibia. Let's talk about briefly about the. It says here in your statement, Johanna, that to participate in the pre-qualification process, interested bidders are required to purchase a pre-qualification bidding document from the CPBN offices at a cost of $3,000. That's quite a price. If you can engage us on the decision around that.
All right. I'll continue to repeat myself and say that the Central Procurement Board of Namibia, whatever we do, the Public Procurement Act is what guides us. And when it comes to the $3,000, it is stipulated in the Act to say if a particular procurement project is within this threshold, it determines, the Procurement Act already determines what amount you need to charge that particular bid. As I've mentioned, we are talking about high value procurement projects that we are dealing with, and that's the reason why the $3,000 come into light. It is not just an amount that we thumbsuck as CPBN, but it is an amount that is guided by the Public Procurement Act because of the value of the procurement projects that we are dealing with.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Immanuel, the typically who qualifies for this? I'm thinking if you are flooded with applications, everybody pays their $3,000, and they really bombard you with qualification with applications, and in the end you have a lot of qualified companies. Do you have a limit to say, irrespective of how many qualify, we are only interested in this minimum number or maximum number rather, or it's for everybody who qualifies?
Yeah, thank you for the question. It's for everyone who qualifies. And the intention is really to have as many contractors as possible, because then that will give you value for money. In fact, we are even saying that we only pre-qualify in a certain class if we get more than 5 bidders who have shown interest. So literally everyone who has met the requirements, the technical requirements, that is in terms of your equipment, in terms of your personnel, and in terms of your financial and the experience of the projects you have done in the past, everyone who meet that qualifies. And like I said, the minimum value for the first class is 20 million. Yeah. And then there are requirements which are also pertaining to that class. So whoever qualifies for those requirements, they are welcome to partake in the pre-qualification. So the more we get, the better. There's no maximum number of contractors.
Yeah.
Yes. And also to just break down the amount, the 3,000. As Ms. Kambala have stated already, we are following the Procurement Act. If you look at your Annexure 4A of the regulation, there's a table there which guides you how much to charge for each bidding document. And the 3,000 is falling into the value of 500 million to 2 billion. So if you look at the procurements which we have already undertaken this financial year, we are already standing at close to 800 million. And that is where it comes from. So if you buy a document for 3,000 now, and then you are pre-qualified, whenever there's a project which is during that year, then you get your restricted bidding document for free. So you have a chance and opportunity to participate in every procurement which is there, which is going in a financial year, it can be worth 2 billion. Yeah. So that is where the 3,000 comes from.
If hypothetically, because I suppose everything has a flip side, that your intentions are pure, you want to really do to shorten the timelines within which you can embark on work, public work and stuff like that. What if, if you are locked inside that restricted bidding pool, for how long will it be just that club? Because what if a very prolific contractor comes in the country and but is already locked out because by the time they arrived on the scene, you already have your pool. How do we bring them in?
Maybe I can answer that and just to come in.
Yeah,
thank you for the question, Toivo. This process is valid for 1 year.
Oh, okay.
Meaning that if you are listed, our closing date for application is 21 January 2026. and then you'll be listed for 1 year. So every year, CPBN will then be conducting this invitation for pre-qualification.
Yeah.
And I just really also want to touch on who should participate, who can participate in our procurement process, because the public has been complaining that not only the non-Namibian companies are participating in our procurement program. And I just want to be specific on who should participate.
Yes.
Namibian citizens, companies or close corporations incorporated or registered in Namibia, cooperatives registered under Namibian law. You can also be having a trust that is registered under the Namibian law, and the joint ventures. I want to talk about the joint ventures. Joint ventures meaning that, and Master Kambinda can correct me, there were concerns from the public that says that, okay, I'm an SME, I'm upcoming, I don't have the experience. You can enter into a joint venture if you are an SME, enter into a joint venture with an experienced company or an experienced entity. You can also enter into a joint venture with a non-Namibian company, because it's all about skills transfer and gaining knowledge from these foreign companies. But most importantly, Namibian citizens must hold at least 51% of those joint ventures, whether it's a joint venture or whether it's a trust. So because what we want to do is to empower our Namibians, but we also don't want to limit them, because we are talking about, okay, I don't have the experience. You can gain the experience from another Namibian entity or from a foreign entity. But what we are saying, if it is a foreign entity, for example, Namibians must hold the highest share, which is 51% in terms of the law. So I just wanted to clarify, because the public had a cry out to say who can participate. This is the opportunity now for our Namibian companies to apply for pre-qualification and be listed for 1 year. And after 1 year, you need to reapply again.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's been, it's good that you mentioned that. There's been situations in the past, Ms. Kambala, about 5-year-olds, companies owned by 5-year-olds getting multi-million dollar tenders through your entity. Is that, I mean, it's completely unbelievable. How are you navigating? I suppose because you are also a new entity, relatively, you are learning from some of these things. Are we still going to have situations where a 7-year-old wins a tender, or have you plugged those holes going forward?
Unfortunately, those holes are not with CPBN. It's all about the law. The Central Procurement Board of Namibia is guided by the Procurement Act.
Yeah.
Company registration is regulated by another act.
Yeah.
And we can only deal within the ambience of the Public Procurement Act. I'm sure that you have read the outcome of the High Court, that it has nothing to do with the age, because the law allows anybody right now, even a 1-month-old baby, to register a company.
Yeah.
Until such time that those laws are changed, unfortunately, you as CPBN, we cannot exclude anybody from participating in our bidding processes, as long as that particular entity is within the legal framework of the Public Procurement Act. So we are talking about two different laws here. The business registration law, and we are talking about the Public Procurement Act. And unfortunately, as we sit right now, the business the business registration law allows for anybody, and I think those in the positions will be in the future address those shortcomings.
Yeah.
And that's why the case, if you were following the case, it was thrown out of court in favor of CPBN. There was nothing wrong that CPBN did in terms of the 5-year-old, because we are guided by the Procurement Act, and whatever we do, and I'll reiterate again, whatever we do should be within the Public Procurement Act.
Yeah.
Yes.
Immanuel, the issue of, because it takes very long, because the law allows it, but it takes very long in some cases for you to find finality to picking a bidder, because you pick this guy then another guy comes and says it's a review that must take place, and then the panel, and then the courts. In the meantime, you just wanted to fix a leaking roof until the rainy season is over. By the time you find finality, the need no longer exists, at least for that season. Is this process one of the strategies to sort of shorten the timeline for these kind of things? We are hearing now government trying to cut out middlemen because they just think that the whole process is so tedious. What must happen? Does the Act empower you guys enough to do things more expeditiously, more fast? I don't know the word, how to pronounce it properly.
Yeah, thank you. That's actually a very good question. You see, like you rightly put it, you just want to fix a leaking roof, but now you are stuck in court because someone went to court, and rightfully so. It's their right to go to court. It's provided for in the Act. You see, the thing with value for money is you need to get something at the right price, but also at the right time.
Yeah.
So if you are getting something a year later, you are no longer getting value for money. And of course, doing procurement expeditiously, there's only so much you can do because there are prescriptive timelines which are there, which you cannot bend or anything like that. So, of course, then a strategic point, then that is how we are coming up with how can we expedite the procurement process, but also within the law and not taking any shortcut. So if for example, if you have a pre-qualified bidders on your list and you get a request for a school which is maybe in Katima, which the flooding is coming, you are not going to take 6 months to get to site. It's going to take you less than 3 months to appoint a contractor who can then start. So that is the benefit of doing this process. And of course, on a strategic level, that's what we are looking at to see how is it that we can expedite the procurement process within the law which we still have.
Yeah.
Yes.
Johanna, very briefly, you have the last row of the dice. If you can just wrap up this conversation.
Thank you so much. This is a call to all our prospective bidders in the construction industry. This is an opportunity for you to apply. The applications are available, and the bidding document is also available at CPBN offices. Closing date is 21 January. Use the opportunity to apply for pre-qualification. There is no discrimination in terms of our participation in the bidding process. And also very, very important, if you are interested, but you are not too sure whether you want to purchase the bidding document or not, you can view the bidding document for free before you decide on that $3,000. So please visit our website. The bidding document is also on our website. And most importantly, to our bidders who want more information, we are going to embark upon a national outreach program where we will be going into the regions and have meetings with our bidders to explain the new process. So please go onto our social media platforms, that is Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and get information as to when our CPBN team will be in your specific town so that you can ask those burning questions pertaining to the new requirements. So please, deadline is 21 January 2026. This is an opportunity for you to apply, and you can view the bidding document on CPBN website, that is www.cpbn.com.na. Alternatively, they can also send us an email, that is at pr@cpb.org.na. So please use the opportunity, view the bidding document before you make that decision to invest your $3,000 in buying the bidding document.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you, Johanna Kambala and Immanuel Kambinda, for coming to the platform. We appreciate your time. That is the colleagues from the Central Procurement Board of Namibia talking about the new process of pre-qualification for contractors who want to participate in the construction public procurement. Thank you for watching.